What's up, YouTube? Um, this video goes out to my subscribers and followers. Um, and everything I'm going to say in this video is implied by the things I've said. Strongly implied by the things I've already talked about and shown on this channel. And so I don't really have to make this video for my followers to realize it's true, but the things said in it are true. But I'm just going to do it because it's a form of retaliation against, like the same stuff I've been saying all this time on this channel. So, but yeah, took me a while to realize this, but past few months to realize this, but I think that, based on my new discovery that I've shared on this channel in the past few months about how paradoxes can use time travel to the point where all of history is going to get reset at some point. There's only one video titled regarding that where I talk about it a lot. Only one anywhere on my channel. I realized it within the past few months. Realized that that's true. For years, it was always true by my own arguments for years. But I didn't even realize it for all those years. But it's true that it's going to get reset. But this messes with something I've said. I just realized this today. I realized that I was wrong. It turns out in the next few years, I brought up how obviously robots are almost having reached the point of being the kinds of creatures that most Christians would say, okay, now is the time for the Antichrist to strike. These are the life forms that are going to give the most possible leverage by laws of physics to the Antichrist to strike the way it's predicted. But the problem with that is that it's not going to happen, because instead of me and my followers allowing the robots to try to fix the situation, it just doesn't add up. Because if history is better to be reset using paradoxes and time travel rather than the original plan that I talked about of just curing the planet of mental illness and enforcing justice as fairness, as I've described it, concentration camps, having everyone atone for their sins through specified units of negative physical sensations. Well, as great as that would be, in recent months I discovered that it turns out it was really never would be better for existence to have ever started, because at least the existence we've come to know, because it's too negative. It's just not worth it. So obviously a reset, if it's possible to use time travel to make sure this existence never started, then it's desirable to fix this issue using time travel. But it turns out time travel is possible. So, and I realized these things around the same time, obviously. But will say that I just think that once we're getting close to this phase in which the Christians can realize there's no Antichrist, I would say it's more likely that somehow the majority of the neurotypical population will be brainwashed, because they're better off brainwashed. If they're not, how can they be utilized in order to make them desire a reset? How can we make them want to desire to reset history and use time travel if they can't even comprehend the possibility of it being real. They're going to make the same mistake I made years ago on this channel, not jumping into things and not fully thinking it through to realize time travel is actually possible for the reasons I've gone over. And because of that, it's safe to say that you have to brainwash them. And somehow they're going to get brainwashed, because if they're not, there's not going to be anything we can do to use time travel to fix history. So I don't really think, even though we're on the cusp of robots taking over or the world getting cured of man-made religions being converted into the theories I've started that I had years ago, it's better if me and my followers get rich, use that opportunity to brainwash the world, because if we do, we can use that so that there can be time travel to fix history. When if we attempted this years ago and we were rich, we wouldn't have tried time travel because we would have been too stupid to realize it's possible. It would have been worse. Now we're going to be going up against people that don't even comprehend that time travel is possible in the first place. Basically just going to be what we were a few years ago. And because of that, we have no choice but to brainwash them. So it's pretty obvious that, it's up to us. So I think there's going to be, if anything, I think there's going to be another set of months coming, and I could have gotten rich many times in the past year. I could get rich in the next few months easily, but I was going to say that just don't think that things can go on at this rate. There's too many colliding motives coming, and I don't think I can safely cure this entire planet. You might say that if this entire planet gets cured and converts to me, they're gonna see all my new videos and say, let's look at those first, or let's listen to what he's saying in the media about how time travel is possible. And you gotta ask the question of, will they really be smart enough to do that? And honestly, I'd say, that reason, you might say it's better to just let things progress naturally, without interfering with brainwashing the world. But the only problem with doing that is, I just came to realize recently, there's possibility that most people just cannot comprehend that there's any chance of the things I'm saying being true. If they start to get into my theories, the whole world starts to get into my theories. You gotta remember, a lot of people are just gonna, how do I say it? They're not gonna be ready for it not everybody's gonna be ready for it the same way. How do I say this? I think this has more to do with hierarchy logic than anything else. The hierarchy logic that I've shown on this channel I mean, obviously, when I started this channel, I did not have people who already knew about the things I said or was coming up with. Doesn't this imply that the next generation of people that will do the same things wouldn't have people to rely on that do? Because wouldn't they have to do all the same things because they're going to reach the same positions? And I'd say yes, that's actually mathematically true, and is what will have to happen. But honestly, I think that even though that's true, it is a confusing topic, but it begs the question of what's going to happen to the people who've discovered it first. Obviously, I don't think that I say this. Maybe it's just that we're going to leave this planet, honestly. My predictions could have been wrong because to say that we wouldn't leave the planet. The only way I think this could really make sense to happen is because the planet's getting overpopulated. It's not what we're doing that means we have to leave. It's not that it's illegal. It's just that it's just too many people. And I think it's not that necessarily there hasn't been people. So this just means my predictions were wrong about aliens. Like there could have been aliens or other life forms that have already been beyond humans' intelligence. Now, the logic behind my theories years ago that there's no aliens that are smarter, it made some sense because it was based on the idea that if there was, why didn't they come to this planet to make this planet better, to make it safer? Well, they'd certainly have the technology to do so. They'd certainly have the intelligence to cure this planet, but you do have to consider that, first of all, it'd be really far away to reach us, potentially. Second of all, they could just give out things that would cure us really easily, but the problem with doing it is they could be so far away, and it may just say, you know what, it's better to let these creatures evolve. That maybe the best we can afford is let them evolve naturally than to intervene and go to their planet. But I was gonna say that, so it's probably not that aliens don't exist, by the way I was originally talking about. It's just that they do, but it's just like impractical for them to attempt to come here for a lot of reasons. So, not that they can't get here, and not that if they got here they couldn't cure us. It's just impractical for other reasons. Honestly, it's just, I mean, tell you one thing's for certain. They probably are just doing what they are out of self-preservation to try to save their own kind, make them keep getting smarter than 24/7. You know, they'd probably be doing that than trying to save us. Even if they could, they'd rather just work on themselves 24/7. So, yeah. I can see how. In fact, this makes perfect sense because based on what I said throughout years about how there is paradoxes in charge of everything, the way existence works is pretty much just have every paradox that can happen. It just happens. It just has to happen. And so there's going to be the paradoxes of aliens on that list of paradoxes that happens, and not just aliens, but the ones that are smarter than us humans, even the smartest humans. So yeah. Um, so yeah, if anything, I think we're just not going to be on this planet. Is what it is. Um, I mean, yeah, reincarnation is still true. The multiverse still exists, uh, but still, um, I think this is just me having overlooked the overpopulation issue. Um, I mean, yeah, I already had long since said that overpopulation exists and that eventually this planet cannot have any more humans. We're gonna go to other planets, but honestly, I just don't think I fully thought it through about if the smartest humans will have to stay or not. So, but it makes sense because the smarter we get, the more likely we are to go to somewhere better. We're just gonna be put into a better planet. It's positive changes, so just making it more likely to have positive changes happen by getting smarter. We're just getting infinitely smarter every day. So, but yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that at this point there is pretty much no way that time travel will happen easily or anytime soon. It's just the sheer problem of where you live. Like, is there enough space? And like you can try to say that, you can point out some of the other things I said, but at the end of the day, let's not forget it's all hierarchy logic, and like, they're gonna have to have the same experience as us first humans who first discovered my theories are true. And like that's like the experiences, years long experiences, so they can't just like cheat the system here and like learn what we learned and then just never go their years of living with the knowledge. It's not possible. So I think that if anything, it's gonna be like say there's no time travel coming anytime soon, if it ever will. Even though it's possible, but I definitely say that as other planets of aliens would get smarter, they get closer to being able to travel reasonably to cultivate other planets like our own and cure them. I mean, you say in the present, is it possible for us to try to brainwash? No, it's not really possible for us to brainwash this planet, because if we try to, we're on the brink of overpopulation, so we don't really have a way to do it. Wasn't for that, I'd say, I mean, I could get rich all the ways I was showing how to get rich quick and easy. But like, and that would be the way to do it, but it's not going to happen. So it's just too many reasons why, because we, who are the smartest humans, are not seen as the smartest, could be kicked out of society. In fact, we're actually considered to be the dumbest humans, even though we're the smartest. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect. But yeah, I would say, with that being said, I think that that's why we'd be one of the reasons why we'd end up on another planet. So, yeah. I definitely think that the technology to cultivate other planets is obviously exists. But yeah, I was gonna say that. That being said, I think at some point time travel will happen, though, because if you have enough planets just become way more advanced, reach a level of technology where they can more reasonably, for all the reasons I said, be able to fit it into their schedule and like instead of just 24/7 work on themselves, 24/7 work on themselves and work on others at the same time. And yeah, I just think that this is guaranteed because I'd say that the more they evolve, the more that space matter will evolve. All the different kinds of matter in space is becoming different over time. And I think the distance between these life forms, these different planets, will become smaller with time. It's the segregation between them that causes these issues. But with increased intelligence, there's less segregation of these kinds. So the more smart they are, the more they'll find a way to get rid of this negative segregation. So I'd say, if anything, there's good reasons to believe that it will happen. But you might say, like, there's hierarchies that exist, and we're in a hierarchy, and they have to have the same experience as us. Whoever comes to realize these theories were true. But, like, okay, they realized the theories were true, but, like, what are you going to do about them having to have the same amount of time at the experience? Like, like people are going to learn about time travel way after we learned about it. So what are they going to do? They learned about it so much later than we do. How is it ever going to happen? It's based on the form of time travel that I explained. There's technically no way to make it happen. If things keep progressing the way it is going to progress, like, till the whole universe evolves so much that it can have everybody realize time travel is possible. And is that even a possibility? Because sadly, there is an infinite amount of newborn consciousness particles in outer space. I talked about that a long time ago, so, like, it's too many, honestly, it would seem. I was gonna say that would mean every single time that we could have, say, our universe or 10 other universes in a multiverse come together and realize that, or like a large percentage of these universes, like, would have people wait for other people to catch up in knowledge if they had to. Then you'd have like a bunch of new consciousness keep getting born out of nothing for the reasons I said. And like, okay, if they do this, like, are they ever going to catch up? Yeah, they're going to catch up, but what's the ratios here? And like, let's go back to what I said many videos ago. I'd say the ratios will be like the amount of like consciousness that doesn't exist intelligently versus the consciousness that does is like pretty even, like for the reasons I said. I didn't originally say that, but when I first started my channel, but like within the past like year and a half, I started to realize why it is, talk about it. So yeah, if anything, I'd say, how do I say this? Like, there's reasons why there could be entire universe of how do I say this? Like, newborn consciousness doesn't mean they don't have any intelligence. Just because they're newborn consciousness doesn't mean there can't be a good enough ratio of newborn consciousness with old consciousness that's existed for a longer amount of time. Like, is there an even ratio in every universe. Like, I don't even think there's an even ratio in every universe. You got to remember that this is pretty much relying on the entire multiverse. Like, sadly, there's not an infinite amount of multiverses. There's not an infinite number of multiverses unless you're defining the words a certain way. And it's pretty complicated because it has to do with like your paradoxes and like what are the limits? It's like how many paradoxes can possibly exist? It's just like so many can exist, but like honestly, there could pretty much be theoretically there could be an infinite amount of paradoxes, right? But that doesn't mean that there will be an infinite amount. Just depends on the order in which what things happen. And like I just say that like I said, with what happens in existence and multiverses, it's just kind of just like it's not random. It's just really anything that can happen. It's like all the combinations that can happen amongst different paradoxes. So by laws of physics. So would there just be like an infinite amount of newborn consciousness that just keeps on coming into every multiverse, into every universe in a multiverse? And so I'd say there's, how do I say this? It's pretty much, I'd say like you can have more paradoxes. Like I said, like there's who knows what number of consciousness that already exists in all the universes in the multiverse that we're in, but let's just say it was like I don't know, like 900 in 50 trillion consciousness. If you think that like if you think that there can't be more consciousnesses born to add to that number, you're wrong, because it's just for the sake of what can happen. Like there could just be more. You could just, with paradoxes, you could just have any amount of anything and just add to it infinitely. So like how fast or slow it happens, it's just how fast or slow it happens. But there's going to be infinitely many more consciousnesses that can come in to existence. And because of that, I would say, like, can we ever stop them so that we ever capture all of them so that we can force them to desire time travel to begin? I'd say yes. I mean, you just have to have all these universes keep on evolving. So yeah. And like, how do I say it? Like, you can have all these universes keep on evolving, and like to capture these weaker life forms of these places throughout the multiverse, you have to just like you gotta ask the question of like, do we have enough physical strength to capture them and like to make them do it? And like I'd say yeah, because we're physically stronger, and we're physically stronger. There's the same ratio of them to us. Can't remove that ratio, so we're constantly getting stronger so that we have enough physical strength. We'll always have enough physical strength to do it. Um, but yeah, we would have to capture them because there's no other way to change their anatomy or improve its parts or dissect it to make it imitate what we do. Um, so like, yeah, there's really no way to see a future with time travel without every life form in the multiverse becoming stronger and smarter than I have ever been, just by my incomprehensible light years of magnitudes. And it's just gonna require a lot of patience, but I think it's gonna happen. But it's just gonna take so much to happen. There's just so many things to fix, but I think it's gonna take like a really long time, honestly. There's so many places to go to make it happen, and yeah. But I don't think that we're necessarily going to be able to do it anytime soon because, like I predicted, that we get to stay here on this planet. This planet becomes overpopulated. We might not ever get to stay here to brainwash the entire planet. So, yeah, I just think that it needs to be said. But whether we, I don't think we will, but I do think that if anything, at some point, there will be, time travel because, like I said, it's going to be less distance between all the planets, and like because there's less distance between all the planets and places to live, it's going to be easier to reach every like set of species to like go amongst each other and like help each other, and like once they do that, like work together to capture all the weakest life forms, or maybe not capture all of them, but just capture enough of them to make time travel happen and force their anatomy to be converted into the resources that we need to use to make time travel happen, the ways I was saying in other videos. So I'd say I think that it's going to happen, but just not as fast as I thought. But I was going to say that I think this planet is going to know about my theories pretty soon, though. Nothing else. Like, because robots are going to do what I was saying. They're going to do it soon. And, like, I also convinced a police station, like I've talked about, that might be able to do what robots would have done, but sooner. Not sure. It's like they're convinced. Some of them are convinced. It's like an entire police station convinced, and the same thing could happen. And also, I also did talk about how I was able to go to churches to convince some of them. But yeah, like honestly, I'd say the police station said that they could make it happen and get the whole world to realize it, but they don't know when they can do it. Because they have, and the way I see it is, who knows when it would happen, because it's up to them in their personal lives and what they like to do in their personal lives. They may never reach a point where they can put their personal life to the side for the sake of what matters more. In terms of if what I was saying is true. So it might never happen. Waiting for them. But like I said, robots are obviously already almost finished. So it might just... But I'd say within the next year, this whole planet will be cured because, yeah, and like I just say that that's just that's just one planet. There's aliens, there's other planets, there's a multiverse. So yeah, there's really no way that this planet is going to be like the way it is right now. There's going to be like very soon. It's going to be very different, and yeah, I just think that most people, but it comes with a price. There's going to be more. There's going to be more overpopulation, and so then there's going to be like probably how do I say it? Like it's probably going to be like an end to the world very soon. But yeah, that's all I got to say for this video. And yeah, just want to say thanks for watching and goodbye.